Good to everyone. Good morning. We are now in Siman Nun of the Shemesh Umagen, and we hinted to the question last time we spoke. So here, let's say you have your Dafina on the hot plate or on the crock pot, and you feel that you didn't put as much water as you would like to. So now it looks like it might be getting burnt. So can you add water on Shabbat to the crock pot or to the pot? Now, obviously, if you put water in, it's going to cook it, and you can't cook on Shabbat. So certainly, cold water, everybody agrees, and it's asur. What if you have a boiling water in an urn right there beside you? It's boiling. This is boiling. Can I put the boiling water inside the hot dafina? So Rabbi Ovadia Yosef says no way, and he's very strong about this. Even though this is boiling hot, and this is boiling hot, you can't put it in. Now, mind you, if you take out water, let's say you put it into a cup, that's already now kli sheni. So a kli sheni, even though it's boiling hot, it's cooling down. And now you put that into your dafina, then okay, I understand. This was cooling down. Even though it's still boiling hot, it's on the cooling down side. Now I put it into the thing that's on the fire, that's cooking, or you could think that. So Rabbi Shalom Asas, he argues and he says that you could put it in, but it has to be direct. So how do you put it in? This is over here, this is over here. How do you put it in directly? Right? So he says if you take it and you keep your hands on, let's say, the crock pot, because there's a lot of laws regarding chazara. Can I, let's say you come to your table, you serve the dafina, can I put it back onto the fire? Right? So there's a lot of halachot regarding this, very complicated things. But if you're holding it, so let's say I take it off my crock pot, I'm holding it the whole time, and someone else, you put it right under where the urn is, someone else opens the water directly from the urn into the crock pot, hot, and there's no cup in between, that Rabbi Shalom Asas says you can do. He says you can do. Sorry? And then you can put it back on, provided you're not putting it down and letting it go, and your intention is to put it back on. So you taking it off with your hands, leaving it in your hands the whole time. Someone else is opening the opener for the hot water, pouring it directly in, and then putting it back on. That you could do. Says Rabbi Shalom Asas. Even though
when you took it out of the crock pot thing itself,
it's all in one motion. So it's right, all in one. You're not leaving it out there for 10 minutes, right? You're doing it quick, putting it back on. You're good. Now, one second. So now that's Rabbi Shalom Asas. Now you could also, or if you pour the hot water directly in. Of course, that's the ideal way. You're pouring it directly in because back to your question, it has to be yetzolidibot. I mean, it has to still remain boiling hot the whole time. So that's Rabbi Shalom Asas. If it's boiling hot, you're okay. Now, on the back end, the Ashkenazim also hold this way, and the Ashkenazim even could hold that if the water's warm, so there's even room for less than yad solidibot. Yes, then boiling. Yes, solidibot was boiling where if I would touch it, I would put my hand back. So Ashkenazim would even be more lenient to pouring that water in, even through a cup. But again, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef argues a lot about this. Rabbi Shalom Asas basically sides with Ashkenazim on this. He's still more machmir. He doesn't say you could put warm water, boiling hot, you could do. So, two things. I'll end with a story, but before that, what I would say is really do this only if you really need to. If you really think that you're going to lose your food on Shabbat because you put too little water and it's going to really affect, then I would say to rely on this Rabbi Shalom Asas to go directly because there's machloket about it. I'll end with a story. When I was living in Eretz Yisrael, so in our shul, we had a Sephardic American Avrechim shul. It was an amazing time there. And we had different chachamim that would come and speak and who lived nearby. So Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef, before he was the chief rabbi, he frequented our shul. And he once spoke, and he was a Rosh Yeshiva. And he said, I forget the name of his yeshiva, Anyway, so he said one time on a Friday night, the students came to him and said, the yeshiva's Dafina, the chamin, it needs water. It's gonna by tomorrow morning. It's not gonna be Dafina for the yeshiva. What should we do? So Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef holds like his father. You can't add water according to Sfaradim. Even Moroccans, he wouldn't say. He would argue Sfaradim can't. Ashkenazim though could. So he says, okay, go outside, find an Ashkenazi, and the people walking Friday night, Shabbat, whatever. Go bring an Ashkenazi. So he brings an Ashkenazi yeshiva boy. This guy really doesn't know the difference. He's not so learned. So Rabbi Yitzchak says, come. He says, here, take hot water and put it in the Dafina. He says, what, am I your Shabbat goy? Like, what are you calling me for, right? So he says, no, Ashkenazim could do this, Sfaradim can't, right? But Ashkenazim, so now that it's done according to Ashkenazim, which is a Jew, of course, and now that they do it lehalacha, now and every Jew could eat it now lehalacha. So because they're allowed to do it, so then everybody else could do it. So therefore, that's how they worked it out for the yeshiva. And there's actually an opposite type of halacha where if, let's say, milk falls into a vat of meat, you need 60 times against it. Right? You need 60 times of meat accidentally. You need 60 times. So there is, according to Sfaradim, room for, let's say, there's less than 60. But it's a big loss. So there's a story in a camp. Just one story to the next. If you give me a minute, it's also a fun story. There's a camp in Chicago, and they cooked a big thing of dinner or whatever for the whole camp, meatballs. And they realized that it was in a dairy pot that was used yesterday, a massive dairy pot. So the whole thing's going to go to waste. And it wasn't 60 times, because once you have a dairy pot, it wasn't 60 times. So it would have had to go to the garbage. But there is a halacha, a kfela. Back in the day, they would have people that would taste, like wine tasters, would taste it, and you could tell, this tastes like it has milk in it, so it's not good. So what we say, the reason why there's 60 times is because we know 60 times has no taste. But if you could really tell and be a professional that there's really no taste there, then it's okay. Sfaradim, there is room for that. So the camp called a Sephardic Talmid Chacham, and he said, okay, according to halakha, technically, if you taste it, then it could. We started off with a goy to taste it. That's the first step. A goy to taste it, and if a goy tastes it and says, no, I don't taste any dairy here, then Sfaradim could rely on it. Sfaradim taste it and say, no, it doesn't taste like thing, and then Ashkenazim could even have it. So that could be an opposite type of case. I said it in a very short way, but there's a lot of details behind the scenes. Anyway, so I'll leave you those two stories. And again, in this halakha, to really do it, like Rabbi Shalom says, if you really need to. Okay, that's that for today. Combinot. If you really, yeah, exactly. Okay, that's that for today. Minchat tonight at 6:45. Have a good day, everyone. Tana de Shabbat Shalom.